Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, The Shadow and the Blade, where we are about to lose both Nuln and Morlock's army, I'm pretty sure. But, first of all, there's not a way out of it, and secondly, we really need to try to do as much damage as we can here, because we have to slow the incoming beard tide. So, let's pour a bunch of food into this. Man, do we even want to? Is this a waste? The thing is, the Menace Below units are going to be so weak relative to dwarves, that, like, they're going to lose in straight combat with Quarrelers. Yeah, I guess they're bodies, though. We need bodies. Alright. This is very, very bad. This is a huge amount of very powerful, very, very high-level units. The good news is, if we're looking for some good news, we're looking for some weaknesses that we could perhaps exploit a little bit. Those cannons are not going to be as effective here as they would be in a field battle. They'll be able to try to punch holes in the wall, but I don't know if the AI ever does that on purpose. Like, the cannons will definitely fire at our troops on the wall, and they may destroy a portion of the wall accidentally while doing that. But they're going to be a lot less effective than, say, catapults or... Okay, thanks for that. That's what we needed. Boy, what are we going to do here? So they didn't bring any... They didn't stop to build any siege equipment. Their plan is probably just to put up ladders, right? How are we going to deal with this? Unfortunately, the army... It's frustrating, for me, that you are forced to use armies that are in the area as reinforcements, but you can't, like, but also you can't actually place them on the walls at the beginning of the battle, because really what we would want to do here is have our, make sure we're in this tower area. What we would want to do here is have storm vermin on the walls, where we think the dwarves are going to come up. As it stands, I guess it makes the most sense to have the slingers at the front of the wall, although there's very little damage that they're going to be able to do. They're not going to be able to accomplish anything else either. So we could have them just try to, like, focus on giant slayers as they approach. There's just the one unit of giant slayers in this army. So I guess we ought to have both the units of slings over here then. Let's move you guys out of the way. Slingers up there, and then these guys can be relocated to operate this tower. We have all of the towers. Let's see. That tower is not manned. Yeah, Clanrat's spears? Yeah, that's fine. These guys don't really have a role in this battle. Yeah, it's a shame, because what we really should be able to do here is just have Morlock's army not show up to the battle's reinforcements. There's no benefit at all to them showing up here. They're just going to die. Alright, I guess we do the thing. Alright, why is that tower... Why are not all of the towers under control? It should be exactly the same amount of time to gain control of any one of them. Alright, we definitely want to focus the towers on units that we're not good at dealing with in other ways, because the tower projectiles do a considerable amount of damage. Maybe... probably the Quarrelers, actually. And then over here, it can be a unit of Quarrelers for the moment. We're not going to worry about the Giant Slayers. The Giant Slayers will die in other ways. I think it probably is pretty much just Quarrelers everywhere, because the Quarrelers are going to do a lot of damage to us. Our units are not well suited to dealing with arrows. And then on this side, miners are actually pretty bad fighters. Like dwarf relative, these are definitely the least dangerous units in this army. You guys should probably try to work on the siege crew. I don't know that it matters particularly which one, just one of them. Okay, you don't even have a lot of targeting choices. And then as the giant slayers get closer, we'll want to make sure the night runners are focused on them, because we can actually do a reasonable amount of damage to them as they approach. Is that... Okay, there we go. I was going to say, is the reinforcement army actually going to show up even? Okay, this is going to be a real nightmare. Alright, the towers are doing some okay damage. A lot of the ideal targets have moved out of range, unfortunately. Giant Slayers are the first ones in, which is really good for us. Get the slings going. Okay, so now we got to make some decisions about how we want to use our Menace Below charges. Because we really need to do the maximum possible damage here. If we put them... I mean, if we put them onto any of these ranged units, other ranged units nearby are just going to turn and destroy them. But that does lower the amount of damage that our guys on the wall are taking for a little while. The fact is, there's not going to be a good use for these. Yeah, it really is just about minimizing or maximizing damage to these enemies. All right, stay focused on those guys. This tower should focus on the middle-ish units. Hopefully, we can, like, the shots that miss can at least get some splash damage. Such a long time after you summon them before you can actually give them any orders. Alright, get up there. Ah, they will fire the cannons directly at the gates, though. That's a thing the AI knows enough to do. I guess we ought to get some Stormies over here, then. Okay, here we go. This is what we're really waiting for. Let's get a unit of swords over here as well. I mean, we're getting some damage in. Alright, hold on a second. We gotta retarget the towers. This gyrocopter is a problem. I mean, I guess tower, singular. Let's grab some of these rattling guns and have them get over here as fast as possible, because they could take that gyrocopter down in a real hurry. So yeah, excuse me. So yeah, we drew off some attention. You know, it matters. It'll add up a little bit by little bit over the course of the battle here. I wonder if we could kill this cannon crew. Let's give it a try at least. The other dwarves nearby are gonna come at us quickly once we do this, but we might still be able to get the job done. Man, I hate trying to manage reinforcements. Alright, so they're up on the walls over here. We do have our wizard in the area, so how do we want to deal with this? We could just put down a black whirlwind. Like, I could overcast a black whirlwind right here and try to prevent the Ironbreakers from being able to make it up the wall. It's worth trying, right? I think the Ironbreakers are definitely more concerning than the Giant Slayers and the Dwarf Warriors over here. Ironbreakers are incredibly tough and actually very good at killing as well. Do we want Morlock up on the wall? I think so. I think we want to probably try to roll the Night Runners back to here and replace them with Storm Vermin. And Morlock goes up there as well. We can try to fight the dwarves when they are at their weakest here. Yeah, I mean, it's doing damage. It's something. Spell effects on that are really cool. That was pretty good. It was 17 winds of magic. So, not something we can do a bunch, but... Okay, over on this side... I mean, we probably ought to get some Stormies up here because we're going to lose this entire side really soon. And then, do we have another spell that's relevant? We could Brittle Bone up there. Minus 40 melee defense will add up to something. We should probably wait until we actually have the units in place. Alright, and over here, their legendary lord has just run through the gate by himself because he knows he is superior to anything we can field. It looks like we did a pretty good number on that crew. Oh, here we go. The catapult crews. These are the ideal targets. Especially with most of the Dwarven army having moved in a different direction. Alright, so the gyrocopter doesn't seem to be doing almost anything. It's just shooting down at our guys, which is fine. Gyrocopters can engage in melee, and I honestly think that one would be better off if it did so. But I'll accept this. So is this the moment when I hit the Wand of Jet? 30 seconds is a long time. Now, let's try to get another unit of Storm Vermin up here as well. Because once we get the Storm Vermin up on the wall, I'm going to want to cast Brittlebone. It's taken forever. We lost another gate, which is probably not a huge problem. Okay, over here. I think I want to try to just gun this dude down. We might be able to. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Not you. We might be able to put out enough damage quickly enough for it to make a difference here. The key to this is going to be making sure that we are not blocking the shot. So maybe the best way to do that is just to try to command the clan rats to run through. Belagar Ironhammer by himself should not have a lot of stopping power. I also remember to have these guys make a formal attack, because sometimes they will just stand around not doing anything otherwise. There are definitely still some command issues in this game, even all these years after release. You guys need to get in there. Here come the grenades from the Iron Breakers. Not a lot we can do about those except tank them, unfortunately. Yeah, more Storm Vermin up here to actually attack, and this would be a good time for the Brittlebone. Iron Breakers are actually taking kind of a lot of damage. Let's do it over here. God, that's a lot of ranged fire coming in. There's a pretty good chance that we would have lost straight up against a single one of these armies. The two of them together is a real problem. Alright, we're doing some good work in terms of dealing with the enemy siege crews, though, which will have an effect on their ability to keep pushing. Alright, you guys need to... I don't know what the hell you're doing, but stop it. Okay, let's have these guys charge him. I appreciate my units not getting stuck on the single enemy. Alright, as soon as the Doom Flayers are through, we're turning around. The Doom Flayers will keep him off his feet for a second. These guys are actually going to be kind of an annoying problem. And we have a cooldown up on... Oof, that's too many guys. It's too many guys coming through the wall. Where are the cannon crews? We got to keep working on these siege crews. This battle is over. They have won. But we can make the next battle much more awkward for them. Alright. None of the guns are actually shooting, which is super annoying. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, don't actually stay in there. Just bump him. Move him around. The loss of a leveled up lord can actually reduce the strength of an army considerably. And Belagar Ironhammer was not super leveled up, but he's like 13. 13's enough. Alright, get over there and help with that. I think he's under control now. I don't know if it's going to make sense to drop a unit of rats on any of that ranged stuff over there. There's too much other ranged stuff nearby. I guess there's not really an easy target left. Yeah, so at this point we probably want to just use them to bolster the numbers of troops inside the wall. Also, we might be able to get another good Black Whirlwind off here. What's the range on this? Okay, it's pretty short. I'm not even going to bother targeting it yet. We'll get him over here and then we'll figure it out. So, I sent the Doom Flayers down this way. Should I turn... I mean, no, we're not going to be able to hold either of these angles at all, even a little bit. Let's have 2 units of Rattling Guns form up over here. These catapults should both be firing into this mass, generally. Put it on guard mode. And these 3 units can try to cope with the dudes coming down this road after that happens. This is going to be a real mess. So I think, actually, I'm going to put up the reinforcement Rattling Guns here. Just try to keep them in place until we are ready to deal with them. Do what damage you can. Don't let him escape. Also, he shouldn't be able to escape from the battlefield by running into the city, because that's, he would certainly be killed there. Yeah, this way. Okay, this is good. Getting some decent fire here. You guys should back up a little bit. Don't let them hit you. You should also back up, because the situation completely collapsed before you got over there. Fortunately, he's quite fast. One thing dwarves do not have is movement speed. Alright, I'll fall back, fall back. Okay, so I'm going to bring these guys back in here. We're going to use them to do slowdown charges. You guys should just be able to fire from where you're at, I would think. There's like a thin layer of my own dudes in the way, unfortunately. You know what? No, just stay. We'll try to have all these guys fall back as best we can. Everybody get out of the way. Fight them, but fight them from this side, so there's an open angle. And we're going to be very reliant on our ranged units to do any kind of meaningful damage at this point. We want to turn the catapults. Do they have a shot here? They do. Alright, well, let's work the iron breakers a little bit then. Do we want to... You know what? I might actually be able to just stop these guys in their tracks. Units of miners do not do a lot of damage. We might be able to hold the side here. At least for a little while. Which might be all we need. Actually gonna work? That is actually working. Some pretty good catapulting, guys. Well done. I love it when their lords don't run away until their health is basically completely trashed. It makes my life a lot easier. Try to keep these guys from running down the alley as long as we can. Also, it is nice to have units that have effectively infinite ammunition. So, Morlock apparently was fighting ranged units. He is not fighting ranged units anymore. I think we want to withdraw pretty much everybody back into the center and then figure this out from in there. I don't want to summon the last unit of reinforcement rats just yet. So we want to use them to distract these ranged once they make it inside the walls, I think. I'm trying to figure out what... it probably makes the most sense to reposition these guys to cover this this alley, right? Although it's probably not a 3-unit job. It might not even be a 2-unit job. Why can I not have you guys... No, just like stand across the... There we go. I don't know why that's always got to be so difficult. We might need a backup Rattling gun unit over here. I think the plan is we'll put these guys in place and then have these guys fall back through them. And then we just need to figure out what we want to do with the catapults, because the catapults probably shouldn't be facing this direction anymore. I'm a little worried they're not going to have a very good shot this way. I guess we can point them forward again and try to kill some of these thunderers as they like come over the wall. All right, I'm gonna have one of them angled this way, and the other one angle forward. And here's hoping. All right, once Morlock gets his wits about him again, we'll have him form up over here in a way that makes a little bit more sense. Alright, yeah, miners are really, really not good units. It's hard to overstate the degree to which they are worse than the other dwarf units. Okay. None of this stuff is a real problem. What do we have over here that can actually fight? Alright. Weak Stormies are still Stormies. And yep, you guys are going to do exactly what I said. Fall back through. See, like, this is not... There we go. That's a much more reasonable interpretation of the mouse motion that I made there. You guys just come down off the wall and slow the approach of whatever enemies remain. These, like, scattered units of clan rats outside of the city center are not going to provide any benefit to anyone at this point. We can have him throw a fireball down the alley or something as the enemies approach. I think that actually ought to be pretty good. Because the fireball, in addition to doing damage, will disrupt formation a little bit here. Okay, I appreciate you guys getting your wits back about you, but could you maybe do it over here? Don't really want to run directly into the dwarf warriors. They can probably finish him off pretty easily. We need to pull guns over here. We probably do. You guys get over there. You guys just shoot this lord. And actually, I'm going to have this unit come over here and try to knock this guy down. See this right here? This is kind of when I want to throw out the last unit of these guys, I think. Although obviously we're gonna have some problems with the enemies being stepped over here, where like engaging with one group of them causes us to be shot at by the next group. And my gunners really, really, really don't want to shoot at the enemies, which is like, incredibly annoying. Basically your only job, guys. Okay, that right there would be a great place to put one of these. You know what, we should probably not, though. Hold on, let me... Yeah. Gotta make sure we're leading the enemies in a way that makes sense. This goes off relatively quickly, though. Alright, I think that was a decent lead. Get out of there. We're finally starting to actually shoot at that Dwarf Lord.
Yes. I'm now ready. I
don't know why you guys aren't firing. There are enemies right there to shoot at. You certainly have plenty of ammo.
Rattling gun.
What's going on, guys? Come on.
Die.
Okay, that's weird. They're acting like they weren't in fire mode. And actually, the same thing's happening over here. We know that there's a straight line of fire available because the enemies are shooting at us. Our guys are just like, that doesn't seem like my job. Alright, we can do this plus some warp stars over here and try to buy ourselves some disruption time. There we go. Our units have remembered how their guns work. Yeah, I didn't realize we were going to have to babysit the gunners so much, but apparently we are going to have to inform them each time we wish for them to fire, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, this is gonna be a slaughter here, right? If we can get rid of Halkenhalf Stonebeard, the terrifying melee ghost, then we can just pound these guys as they come down the hallway. Good catapult fire going through here. We have good catapult fire going in that way. I mean, we're doing everything we can. There's just not a huge amount that we can. Do I want to pull Morlock back? He's kind of... Him holding this position's kind of important. Like, for buying us the maximum amount of time to continue fighting. So I think I'm just going to keep him in there. And... yeah, we don't really have a lot of options right now. What's the thing that keeps people in place? Veil of Shadows costs 12. You know what? I think we're okay to Wand of Jet here. I don't think we're going to be able to cast anything meaningful in the next 30 seconds. Okay. Those guys are firing. The ghost is getting shot. He really can take an awful lot of damage. You guys are probably going to want to withdraw now.
Back underground. Mark Scully, yes. Skaven, yes.
On.
Ready. Scabba down. Cretin attack. Quick.
Wait a minute. How are we having Rattling Gunner units retreating? Why would that be the case?
Ready.
Also, why can I not click to attack on these units?
Scabba, go. Attack. Doomflayer. Skitter and leap. On, lads. The fight attack.
The ghosts are not easy to kill.
Rattling your gun. Guide us onward.
But also, they are absolutely necessary for us to kill. If the ghosts are allowed to, do stuff in here, we will never be able to hold them back. Alright, some of our units have remembered how fighting works. Yeah, see, this is like the big downside of giving them manual attack orders, is that I have to remember to unmanual attack order them. It shouldn't be a problem. They should just do their job. Yeah, and we're getting overwhelmed here. Now, on the other hand, Morlock has performed admirably. Have some iron drakes here, which should probably be killed. Yeah, this is a shame. We came closer to holding than I thought we were going to. And yeah, even remembering all this stuff, still, this is better than I thought we were going to do. This catapult's almost out of ammo. This catapult's not even firing. Turn and work those iron breakers then. Oh my god, just die. Okay, hey, we got him. We got that ghost. So now we need to reposition pretty radically here, or we're going to gonna lose all of these units. Alright, as much as I don't love this idea, go ahead and charge them. Job is just to be a disruption until people can get their feet under them.
What? It shall be done. Attack charge. Fight attack.
Come on, go. Oh, that was some disruption. I really wish we had more charges of Menace Below. This would be a really good time for some Menace Below. Also, yeah, we're completely doomed here. Not really seeing a way to even hold stuff back. Okay, we need one of the catapults to focus in on those Quarrelers, right? I think the Iron Breakers, it looks like they're not actually beating our Lord by very much, so he can hold for the moment. And yeah, you yes, just keep doing that. And then unfortunately, these two units of Rattling Guns have to stop firing so that they can get out of the enemies. They are not going to hold in melee combat against Iron Breakers for very long. But what are you guys doing? Why are you stopping? This kind of stuff, where like your units just decide they know better than you. Sure, we could fire, but why? Why go to all that trouble? Are you gonna do it, or... There's another problem, is that I can't rely on my units to necessarily do anything I tell them to do. Alright. Well, this should not have been anywhere near as close as it was. This is a real embarrassment for the enemies. You guys could be firing right now. That would be cool. There we go. Yeah, and over here we've just like completely lost control. Unfortunately, dwarves are not fast, but our gunners are also not fast. And so us running away to try to get range doesn't actually work unless we have something to charge them in the interim. Focus on these guys. Keep doing damage as best we can. It's crummy. It's crummy to lose this army, but I don't know that we would have been able to stop the dwarves no matter what we did here. Like, even if we had pulled the army back, we probably did more damage with them this way than they really deserved to be able to do. Alright, sorcerers are in here. I mean, there's not a lot we can do here except for stand and fight. And in fact, we cannot do that either. I'll say this for these dwarves. They stayed strong through considerable losses. They really took a beating here. And this was a relatively minor settlement. It's important to remember that we can put together an army relatively quickly back in Nuln. So while this is definitely a setback, it's not really that bad. They paid a significant cost here in terms of like organizational time to take out a force that we can replace. This makes me a little bit more, honestly, a little bit more hopeful about the war in general, because I think that we proved that I'm maybe overestimating the dwarves a little bit. This should have been a massacre. By the way I was reckoning things, this should have been a decisive victory for them, and it very much was not. So we cut out about half of their total units, it looks like. Sorry, I'm looking at these numbers and just not doing math. We cut out way more than half of their total units. We cut them down considerably, and each dwarf is worth like 5 Skaven. I don't know how we're going to maintain the momentum over here, though, because we don't have a lot of bodies in the area. We're going to start putting together another army in Altdorf. We're going to start running the units from Athaloran out to fight. Vomik's army is going to be available to push dwarves back pretty soon. I think we still have to have Ikitclaw and the other guy. Oh hey, Morlock's army didn't actually totally die. I mean, yeah they did. They're doomed. Interesting that they burned Nuln. It's definitely a huge tactical error on their part. Strategic, I guess, error on their part. But, like, we have to finish Telsin. That's not really optional. I like the fact that Orion came out of that settlement. That might be good for us. Retreat. Why would I not be able to retreat here? Well, I guess Morlock is dead after all. That's a shame. I had a moment of hope there. The orcs, the savage orcs spawning when they did is probably good for us. It'll keep some people's attention on enemies further northward. So Veshnar's at war with... Okay, Veshnar's at war with the dwarves and Stirland, it looks like. That's maybe not a good position for that army, then. Hold on. I think I was seeing our... Okay, Chaos Wastes, whatever. It's too many notifications each turn. We killed a lot of dudes. We lost some dudes. Yep, okay. Way too many notifications. Alright, no. He is not at war with any of them. Who are you? Are you just at war with the Empire still? In Couronne. Yeah, we have a defensive alliance with them. I guess they must have negotiated peace with the dwarves after... Because when the dwarves declared war on us, Vashnar should have immediately gone to war with them as well. Just making sure here, while we're looking at this screen, that I'm not missing any trading opportunities. Okay. Yeah, talking Vashnar into the war could be helpful. We could get him to go to war with the dwarves or with Stirland. My guess, though, based on his military strength, is that we will find ourselves unable to do that. What if you helped me out with Stirland, though? Those guys are weak. And I will give you... apparently I have 14,000 gold. That's because we lost armies during the enemy turn, so at the start of our turn we didn't have to pay the upkeep on army singular, on that, which is pretty significant. Okay, we're not going to be able to talk them into the war. That's enough money that it would have made a difference if it were possible. So Orion's force is in the open and in march mode. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We just are not going to be able to get reinforcements in on him this turn. Well, let's do this thing. We know we're doing this. We don't need Bilefitch, but we will bring Bilefitch. No reason not to do this with full force. Alright, that is the only time they will be able to do that this turn. There we go. And then, yeah, this army is still all torn up from the plague. If I do say so myself, that was a very successful plague. Hey, we finally got another vial of warp fuel after not getting one for a very, very long time. Okay, so we need to get the hell out of this magic forest. Definitely going to be some underway movement happening next turn. Upgrade this, and how is our public order going here? It's not going well. We need to do what we can to fix that problem. Upgrading the settlements here is a fairly high priority, because obviously we want to be able to hold on to the area. Why are you this? You should be efficient planning. We want to be able to hold on to the area, and we really, really don't want to have to keep devoting units to keeping it held down. Okay, over here in the Grimhold, Obside has respawned, and he's going to have to get out here and help us fight dwarves immediately. We did manage to get proper defenses up around all the stuff over here, which is good. Remember, the dwarves do have access to the underway movement stances, so they can do all the stuff we can do movement-wise. Altdorf can be raised to level 5, which is pretty good. We can also... Well, hold on. I'm not going to change that just yet, because we might improve some buildings there yet. I think it's probably just time... Like, things are not going to get better for us, right? I think it's time to just jump those dudes. They're going to run in here. They're going to attack a settlement. I guess I could have Wicked Claw... Can he make it to Gorsel? No, he cannot. I was going to say, maybe we just move in and scoop up all of their remaining settlements, but never mind. I think we got to just do this. Wicked Claw doesn't have quite the amount of guns that I would like for this. But I think we can... man, I'm a little nervous about the amount of arrows that this army has. We do have 2 catapults. We have the Warp Lightning Cannon. I'd feel more comfortable if we had more Rattling Gunners. But also, we kind of need the money from winning a big battle. Yeah, let's get them. Okay, ambush is good. I was really hoping we would hit the ambush. We'll bring in as many extra charges as we can. But we do have access to Warp Bomb because we are in a region that has an improved garrison building. He managed to walk over the line, which was a tactical error on his part. Alright. So we get to start close to their bows. This is going to help a lot. The ambush footing is going to be very meaningful here. If we break Orion, then the Wood Elves have no armies and no ability to build further armies because of the way their settlements outside of Athaloran work. They're not able to actually build recruitment buildings. So they will essentially be dead. To the point where we could just ignore them and have Wicked Claw move into Reichland, which is probably what we have to do. It was nice of him to walk out of the settlement and make this easy for us. So they put... Oh, right, they have archers evenly spaced throughout this area. It's just that their units are sneaky. So how do we want to position? We definitely want to hit them in the back. This is a weird thing, though. It is strange that so many of their units are grouped up right on top of each other. Alright, Ranald came through for us. Like, in a pretty big way that time, actually. Well, I think obviously we want to have these guys right here ready to do the thing. We want to have our gunners right on top of them. Our Jezzails don't have to be. But, like, the terrain is kind of weird. I'm concerned that if we could put the Jezzails back here. It's just like the terrain is so uneven that there's not actually a place far away that we could stand where we can still shoot them. We could be as far back as, like, over here, I guess, but that puts me closer to the enemy melee, not further from them. Yeah, I think I'm just going to put the Jezzails right here. And then we'll have these guys come in from this side instead, so that we are sure there's no blocking happening. Claw facing the enemy with his flamethrower immediately. And then the catapults go back here somewhere. And the warp lightning cannons are a little trickier because they do require direct line of sight, but they're less finicky than guns because they have those, they are on raised firing platforms. I think this should, that's not going to work. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? Like, the terrain is actually really horrible for us. I mean, I guess you gotta take your ambushes where they're available, but this whole area is terrain that dramatically favors arrows over direct fire weapons. Do we actually have an option? Like, do we have to put them down right here? I think we maybe do. Yeah, I hate that. So that maybe changes up some of the things we want. Like, if we put the catapults over here instead, then we put all of our defensive forces, like, in this area. This is where we construct the body block. We're firing... The Jezzails should still have reasonable shots because we're firing uphill. So we'll be able to see over our units in a lot of cases, but we'll move some guys out of the way anyway. Triads should definitely be really close to the enemy. Who have I left behind? 2 units of clan rats. Two random clan rat units. Okay, well, they can just be over here, I guess. Okay, we have to very quickly deal with all this stuff, and also we have to cast some spells. So we're going to start by, first of all, getting vision of all of the enemies that we knew were there. And secondly, by casting a brass orb here. I think the goal of this is to try to keep their melee troops from being able to really move in. You guys should charge stuff that is toward the back. I'm going to have my units basically just move in. I'm not going to issue attack orders on this side just yet because I want them to fan out a little bit better. Oh wait, I want to leave firing space for the Jezzails. Okay, let's hope this goes as smoothly as I am praying it will. Well, you guys do have a shot, right? Yes, okay, the terrain's uneven, but not in a way that should prevent us from being able to shoot. And then as soon as that thing goes off, we're gonna Crack's Call, obviously. Oh. They have a metal caster? Yep, that's another metal spell. I wasn't aware that Wood Elves had access to metal magic. It kind of doesn't really jibe with their whole thing, does it? Alright, so that stuff's all broken. Let's rearrange for the second phase of the ambush. So, first things first. Let's do a little bit of manual catapult targeting now. We gotta stay on these ranged units. Wood Elf ranged units are fast enough that these guys were able to run out of the middle of the army and end up over here already. Fortunately, they are not very good at getting mobbed by 10,000 enemies. Although some of our units have already lost in melee, apparently. Really not very impressive, guys. Let's have you guys try to do something like that. We probably cannot afford to have anybody on chase the injured people duty. Like, we're going to need bodies for the actual fighting immediately. And then we got to figure out what we want to do with our gun teams. The Jezzails, I think, do not have a shot on anything the way this is worked out. Catapults should still be plenty good. The Rattling Gunners are going to have to move. We can try to move the Rattling Gunners to, like, way up here. That's a long run. You have to get forward. This is probably a pretty good Warp Lightning situation here. A lot of enemies gathered up. The Warp Lightning Cannon, I mean, it'll do what it can. I'm not going to try to move that right now. I think we're we're ready to move on here. And we just hit Menace Below timing. Let's remember that we have the ability to detonate these Menace Below units. They have to be under half health before we can do it, though. So these guys are in guard mode. I'm going to retarget them right now. What is... Okay, you guys. In here, it looks like they're just above half health. I think I can't hit them with this. Yeah. Hit points slightly greater than 50%. Very inconvenient. So, okay, you guys can do that. Jezzails... the Jezzails can shoot at the fleeing archers, I guess, to break them up. I don't know that they're going to have much else to do. Yeah, try to turn that from temporary flight into permanent flight. And you guys just need to keep moving in. Alright, let's do a Warp Lightning. Warp Lightning right here should be very good for us. Mostly these melee units over here are trying to keep enemies in one place while we wind up all of the other stuff. Come on, drop under 50%. Now, by the time we can cast, they're not going to be... Actually, they're kind of accidentally staying with those archers. We're being told that their hit points are still greater than 50%, even though that is obviously false. Okay, and it turns out the Jezzails are maybe actually needed over here. The job they're doing is important. Okay, those guys are re-breaking. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy that we made that decision with them. Am I getting outrun? Well, whatever. As long as you keep them running, that's fine. Spellcasting. Somewhere, there's an Icked Claw. Is he... Wait, where is he? Okay, he's in melee. That's fine. He can handle some Wildwood Rangers. I'm not worried about that. More lightning? No more lightning. Death Frenzy? Yeah, maybe. That's a pretty significant amount of melee attack. Hopefully that'll get us through. One of the big problems you have when fighting elves is not so much that they're like armored, but that their melee defense tends to be high enough that it's hard to actually deal damage to them. Ooh, that's inconvenient for those guys to be regaining their ability to fire while just on the other side of all the hills. You guys gotta continue moving, because otherwise those dudes are gonna tear you apart. Alright, another one of these. Another one of these. Alright, we're almost there. Fire off a Storm Demon shot on that guy. It looks like our Warp Lightning Cannon, sort of incidentally, without me telling it to do so, has been very focused on their lord, and he's almost dead. Alright, we got a bunch of permanent breaks. Why are we not... Oh. This unit of Way Watchers is non-permanently broken for some reason. Well, let's see if we can usher them forward. There we go. And this army was in march mode, so they're dead. Oh, Orion is also not permanently broken. Some solid Warp Lightning there. Also, he's some kind of forest spirit. I think he's not actually an elf, so you would expect that the flamethrower would be pretty effective against him. Okay, there we go. It took a little bit of doing. A heroic victory. That's a weird... I thought a heroic victory was supposed to be when you were, like, massively outmatched, which I guess the game thinks we were? Yeah, look at that. Even in a situation where they were totally tactically outmatched, like their positioning was terrible, we had massive advantages over them, still 100 kills on this unit of this melee unit. Elves are very, very good at fighting. They don't wear a ton of armor, they don't wield huge weapons, but they just have a huge amount of melee attack and melee defense, which can be a real problem. Okay. I think I actually do want the replenishment here, because we're going to be fighting dwarves real soon. Also, we gained a bonus that doesn't help us at all. Portents of Verminous Doom. -4 leadership for all enemies. Okay, that's not as impressive as I was hoping from the name. What do I want to do? And we have to get back in the direction of Altdorf, and we have to do it right now. I'm wondering if I'd be better off just stopping near the forest and then next turn doing an underway move. But yeah, now that the Wood Elves don't have an army up here anymore, I'm not as compelled to leave stuff behind or run in that direction, because they can't, like I was saying, they can't actually build anything. Alright, Erat, you need to soften up these guys, I think. Even more wolf rats. Okay, that army's reasonably injured. It's a shame that most of the damage seems to have gone on the worst unit in the army, but what are you gonna do? Ekich should do the same thing over here, although he's less good at it. It's alright, it's still XP. Also, we can give him that pet wolf rat we just found. That's not... Did I... I gave him the bell polisher. Well, he can also take the bell polisher. Okay, so we've moved all of our units and armies? No, we have not. Do I think you have a chance of being able to take out Thorgrim Grudgebearer? Probably not, actually. Alright, oh, hold on. Before I forget, we have Doom Rocket Fuel. And we got lucky. That's very, very good. Does that change my estimation of whether we could take Thorgrim Grudgebearer? Honestly, maybe. That definitely has some potential. Alright, let's, before we do anything else, before I space on it, I think we probably ought to start the new army in Altdorf, because that's going to have to happen this turn, right? So let's recruit ourselves a new lord. We got lord recruitment rank at 5 right now. Ooh. Infectique is a pretty good lord. We did lose our sorcerer. To be perfectly honest with you, though, I think we want a warlord here. I think we need somebody who can actually, like, stand and fight dwarves a little bit. The poison attacks are pretty good. Yeah, it's got to be him. This is the right move. And he can actually local recruit most of the important things here. I think we might just reproduce what we were doing with the last one. Because honestly, it was working. Like, the only reason we lost that last army was because we were massively outnumbered. Okay, Flamethrower guy's available next turn. And we're pretty close to being able to cap out the Doomflayer workshop as well, and get that Regiment of Renown available. We just need 2 more warp fuel. Alright, so I like catapults a lot against dwarves. Oh man, it's going to be so much cheaper to recruit this army too. I like the Doomflayers a lot against dwarves. In fact, maybe even more Doomflayers. And Rattling Guns I like a lot against dwarves. These are doing some fine work. Oh, we have access to proper poisoned wind mortars too. How many ranged units do I want this army to have? We should definitely get poisoned wind mortars though. Let's maybe cut one of you. I'm just thinking here that we can only run so much non-melee, right? We need some storm vermin at least, and we're probably going to go entirely swords and shields here. Well, we do need the armor piercing. The dwarves don't really have anything large, is what I was thinking when I said that, but we do still need the armor piercing. But we're probably better off for killing armored dwarves, we're probably better off using like triads and death runners and stuff. In fact, it's death runners specifically are what we want. So, yeah, give me some of these guys, and then we're gonna bring in death runners through the global. These guys should be pretty good at running up behind dwarves and cutting all of their armor off. They don't have great melee attack. Well, it matters less when you're hitting enemies from the back. Yeah, I think that's what we'll take, and then as things are set up right now, I'm going to drop these guys for another mortar unit. As things are set up right now, we probably need the rest of this army to be storm vermin. But that's a problem we can worry about in 2 turns. Okay, so we need to make a decision here. Are we going to try to attack Thorgrim Grudgebearer?
Grey harbinger of doom.
No Grudgebearer would do this.
He has cannons. On his turn, he's going to take Xerexil from us. And there's nothing we can do about that. Aside from kill him right now. I think we probably should. We probably should go for it.
All hail, horned rat.
We need to blunt their advance down here so that we don't have to spend a lot of time looking after all this stuff. So I guess we're probably going to attack, but it's a thing we need to do next episode because we are already past an hour here. So that's going to be it for us for right now. Thank you all so much for watching. We are slowing the Dwarven advance, which is the first step towards stopping it. And hey, we've only lost 1 entire army doing so far. So come back next time tomorrow for probably some more losses. Just a feeling I have. And we'll see you then.